Hello, everybody. Welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Thank you so much for clicking by. This channel is all about wine education, designed to help you get the maximum enjoyment from the wonderful world of wine. My presentations are really specifically designed for those of you getting knee deep into the world of wine, studying it. So it will give you the confidence and understanding really to help you with your wine examinations. Welcome to a video here on the WSET Level 3 for Alsace, so the Eastern French region of Alsace. If you have a comment, question, it would be great to hear from you. Please do get in touch. You can comment below this video. Make sure you click like and you click subscribe. Okay, so let's get stuck into all things Alsace. I'm going to go through the schedule of the videos. There is the wonderful Osterberg Grand Cru, nestled in the foothills of the Vosges Mountains in the picturesque villages that you find around Alsace. Of course, this is a landscape which is remarkably shaped by the borders of, say, Germany, with German influence and Flemish influence. So the architecture here, the language, for example, town names have a very different feel than the rest of France. So this video is going to be looking at the introduction to Alsace and then focusing on the all-important climate and weather specific to this region and grape growing. Video 2 will follow after this on the appellation structure, where videos 3 and 4 on winemaking key styles and then me working through short written questions to help you will be only available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning portal. That's over at www.winewithjimmy. Okay, let's have a look then at the location of Alsace to begin with, and there's a map of France. So, as I mentioned previously, this is located on the eastern side of France, on the border of Germany, where you will find the Rhine River being the natural border. So this is really a French wine region with a difference, because most of its wines here are varietally labelled, so with one single grape variety on the label. And it's really focusing on still wine production, certainly with aromatic white grape varieties that are made in dry, off-dry, and sweet expressions. You'll also find a small proportion of red wine made here from Pinot Noir, recently been elevated to be allowed to be Grand Cru status. So there's a nice map on the left-hand side of where Alsace sits in terms of the topography. So you'll clearly see the Vosges Mountains, that kind of brown shade on the slide to the left. The blue area is the vineyards going down from near Strasbourg, through Colmar towards Moulas. And then the bit where it cuts off there is the Rhine River. And we're showing you a wonderful picture there also towards the right-hand side of really this beauty of Alsace, where you've got the Vosges Mountains in the background. You'll have the forests of the Vosges, important supply, in fact, for oak in terms of barrel making. The vineyards then hugging those foothills with the villages nestled towards the bottom of the slope. Alsace enjoys a cool to moderate climate. The Vosges Mountains, that lovely small mountain range, which actually is an extension of the Pfalz Hart mountain range to the north, these will provide shelter, certainly for the vineyards, from the prevailing westerly, rain-bearing winds. And what happens here is all of this weather pattern hits the western side of this mountain and rains, and the cloud cover accumulates and stays there. So on the western side of the mountain, when you are facing towards the rest of France, you'll actually find it being really rainy, around 2,000 millimeters of rain per year. But on this side, where we find the vineyards, it's exceptionally dry with a lack of clouds. So you get these sunny summers and dry autumns. These conditions ensure that the grapes can achieve really decent levels of sugar ripeness. But there can be issues with drought in the very hot and dry years. Now, the northerly part of the vineyards, that's up here near Strasbourg, has the coolest climate as it's highest in latitude, but also there is less of a protection with the Vosges Mountains in that area. The rest of it is a little bit warmer. So that's what I'm identifying with your picture there, that you're getting that Vosges Mountain protection. A little bit more about the topography here. The very best vineyards are located on the steepest slopes, and these will have east or southeast aspects. In the picture you'll see there is the Sering Grand Cru, which is found really just down in the southern section of Alsace. So this is quite a famous Grand Cru, one of 4 in this area. Now, in these areas where you find terraces going into the Vosges Mountains, like you see here, the vines are trained quite low to benefit from radiated heat from the slopes and the walls that are supporting as terraces. And the rows here are oriented to maximize the vine's exposure to the sun. And this in turn will, of course, ensure real maximum ripeness, hence why our Grand Crus tend to have a little bit more concentration than generic Alsatian wine. Now, but not all Alsace wine is grown on the slopes. The lesser vineyards are actually found on the plain between the Vosges foothills that we looked at and all the way towards the Rhine River, which forms that natural border with Germany. So this is going to be flatter. The vines here in the plains of Alsace are going to be trained higher, and this is to minimize the risk of frost, certainly spring frost, because in flatter areas you are going to have an increased risk of frost in a continental area like this because there is better airflow on the terraced slopes in the foothills. Now, at this level, you can be thankful. You don't need to know about all the different types of geology here, the mosaic of terroirs that you can find within Alsace. But you do need to realize that it really has had a dramatic geological history. And as a consequence, there is a real great variety of soils in the foothills. Now, I'm trying to show you that here. There's a few types of soils with sort of schist and granite and limestone, sandstone that you'll see in the picture. And on the right-hand side, we're showing you the sort of tectonic plate activity, which has then been very active in this location to create a lot of exposed soil geology through millions upon millions of years. This geological complexity found in Alsace is certainly a key factor that contributes to the wide variety of styles produced here through the grape varieties, but also within each grape variety. So really, it is said that probably the geological diversity here in Alsace is probably the strongest influence here than any other region in France, which is a rather wide claim, but it certainly has good foundation to it. Now, we mentioned that this area is sunny summers and then those dry autumns. Lack of clouds here, lack of moisture. In fact, the rainfall often is somewhere between only 400 to 500 millimeters of rain per year, putting it on par with the driest areas of France. So this means that we have certainly the option of producing quite a lot of organic and biodynamic viticulture for Alsace. So it's widely practiced, and that's due to that low disease pressure that we find here. And there's a picture of the Kiteli Grand Cru, which is another one in that southern section. Okay, so we have really now that's for that's your organic side of things. Yes. So one thing, this little town in the background is Guebwiller, which is where we saw this Grand Cru, but also Sering Grand Cru that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Then we come up to the harvest for Alsace. Now, many growers face key logistical challenges at the harvest time because they have a number of small plots that are not just in one village, say, or one contiguous plot. They are often spread out across the region. And then they have multiple different grape varieties as well. So these varieties will, of course, ripen at different times due to their grape variety nature, but also due to the geology and location. So the vintage here may be spread out over a very long period, having a very protracted harvest. So normally we see harvests starting in the middle of September and lasting until, say, well into November or even into December for vendange tardive and selection du Grain Nobel, which I'll cover in the next video. And yes, please do join me for that next video on the appellation structure. If you do have a comment or question about this video, or potentially you've been to Alsace or you like drinking Alsatian wines, please share your experiences in the comments below. Make sure you click like and subscribe. I've been Jimmy Smith, and until next time, please come and see me if you're in the UK for a glass or bottle. Ciao for now. Thank you.